Against the Orton Slough.
It's against the Orton Slough. This will be levied in their fiscal year 2017 drainage taxes.
And they know about it.
They were informed that they don't know about the final price, but they do know that, and they gave the board instructions that we were to do as much as we could to improve the existing facilities out there. And the next phase of that is the plans are completed for the drainage ditch improvement. Once we own the easement to the property, we'll be letting the project for the ditch cleaning.
Move it.
Motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0.
We'll process the claims to the 3 landowners for approval of the board next week.
We'll now adjourn the Horton Slough Drainage District and continue the Board of Supervisors meeting. Thank you, Mark. Item 20 is Chairman's Report. I just wanted to keep you updated on a few things. We had the department head meeting. Minutes should have gone out and be distributed to all. Karen, are you able to pull up the calendars, or at least one calendar? One of the things that we've been working on is not only the True Speak and the suggested weekly report to liaisons to keep us informed and sharing back and sharing good news in Woodbury County. But we've been working with the board office, and this is something that we'd like to ultimately implement for supervisors when there is a supervisors meeting. Karen's going to work on this with Heather as well, and IT, so that whenever there's a meeting, we will all receive push notices to our phones and emails, and it'll be a way for whether it's the public or for each of us to be able to see when are we meeting, who's meeting with whom, and just to keep everyone informed. Those things will recur. If you have those sort of things on your phone right now, you may be getting 2, but it'd just be a redundancy if you've already set that up. So that's something that we'll continue to work on and have some continuing conversations with the auditor's office and with IT on how we can update things.
Just our own meetings, or you're going to give me a push notice on everyone's meetings?
No, it would only be for you.
I was going to say,
So you don't need to know,
Thank you.
we don't need to get everybody's and be inundated, but it would only be for our own. And the nice thing is if it was pushed back an hour or 2 or it was rescheduled, that could all be out there as well. The second item we kind of covered a little bit, but I just wanted to share an email with you, and I'm not going to read it, but this was Mark Chavez's report. He was the historical architect that came in and really did a very, very thorough job on the historical recommendations, and he had about 3 pages. The bottom line, without getting into the weeds and details, is he was very, very, very complimentary of the process of building services, of what we are doing and taking their recommendations. This is a color chart of LEDs, and you can see one of the things that they were very worried about is the coloration is very important. You can see at the top, that's your kind of white, almost bluish antiseptic sort of lighting that if you looked at meat under, it would look like you wouldn't want to see it. And that's what you have in a hospital room. The lowest level of lighting is kind of your candle-like lighting at 2700. And so it's very important to get away from the 7000K kind of lighting, which is what a lot of our fluorescents look like right now. The problem when you get down to the 2700 range, which is why my wife complains in the living room, it's a little too yellow and you lose some of the visual acuity. So we're in the 3500 range, and they were very pleased with that. They wanted to be very careful that we didn't get a modern white kind of antiseptic looking lighting. And so there's a little bit on that, and wanted to praise all the folks who helped us out in the historical side of things. So continue to forge ahead on that. Public bidder attendance. Heather had a suggestion that for the first 15 minutes when there's a public sale, she's willing to stay if folks have questions, and she's worked with them in the past. I think that's a good customer service thing, and I sort of stubbed my toe today, not recognizing her right off the bat when she was here. in order to do that. So just wanted to keep you abreast of that. Item D is the Sioux City made a legal open records request of Woodbury County for items related to our use of tax increment financing, both related to the Liberty Park Urban Renewal Area, as well as anything to do with Dogwood Trail, any use of TIF. I wanted to include the letter that I wrote to them, as well as the list of documentation, and just keep you all aware of that's what happened. And that letter assures them that they can ask for things, and I believe that we'll be cooperative and in a spirit of brotherhood and friendship, we will provide documentation outside of an open records request.
Do you know why they want it?
There
Have you
was some
heard?
discussion, and I had some discussion on them being concerned about the county's use of tax increment financing, and there seems to be some hesitation about the potential way that the county may use tax increment financing. There's, of course, a historical and philosophical divide over the use of TIF and how that's used. And my hope, and just speaking as one supervisor, is that we could work in a spirit of cooperation as they seek to develop and expand. But what I don't want to get into is any kind of adversarial relationship or anything like that. I think that we can both work in a spirit of mutual cooperation. So,
Well, that would be the goal, anyway.
Personally, I think it's whether it's legal or not is the definition. That's the way the city's always done it.
sure. And we have, as you know, there's different legal minds on both sides of the argument on contiguous or non-contiguous areas and so on.
Is it mostly about the Dogwood Trail project? Is that what they're?
They didn't get into the specifics of objecting to one particular project or,
Just to know overall?
There was a comment made about usage in total with what was first rolled out under the Vision 2050. And so they weren't more specific than that.
And you haven't picked up the phone and called the mayor or anything to see what they're thinking?
We just rolled up the documentation last week, and I sent it to, I didn't know where the origination came from because it came from their attorney. And so when I asked, could we sit down, because I wanted to find out what exactly do they need. That's a pretty broad, asking for every document related to TIF was fairly broad. And so in that, I never had found out from their legal counsel where it was originating from. So I sent it to the mayor and to Dan Moore, who's our liaison for economic development, as well as to the attorney. And then I wanted to keep all of you informed that that's what had happened.
Thank you.
Item E is the LEC Expansion Committee notice. As you know, we had to delay that, and that will take place tomorrow. There will be 3 architects, M+, and RML, and CMBA, that will be interviewed, and we'll come back with an RFQ recommendation.
Is that a meeting for everyone?
That is a meeting for the committee,
Okay.
but it will be posted as an open meeting, and then each one has requested closed session, akin to what would happen during an interview. So that will be in front of the committee, but it will be closed to the public for that portion of the actual interview.
Oh, okay. I thought it was for everybody.
And then finally, I had an opportunity to go to the Sioux City Children's Museum, and
Did you take the kids?
I did, and they ate well. Thank you very much. Wanted to let you know, in the past, I think it was 2007 or 9, Dennis, the board contributed $20,000.
Not that long ago.
Okay. At some
Well, I
time.
think it was more than that, wasn't it?
That was for the museum. For the Children's Museum, that was about 2 years ago.
I thought it was
75,000.
75,000.
5. Okay.
The museum's 25,000.
Yeah.
That's for his line grant.
Oh, okay. That's what I meant, the Children's Museum. So $75,000. Okay. So you are on Woodbury County Board of Supervisors listed on the tourist level. It's a great thing. Thursday, I believe at 10:30. I'm not able to go, but if somebody would like to be there on the county's behalf, they're going to have their launching of the launch pad. So, good thing. And that's all I have. If there's 21 is reports on committee meetings.
At the end of the agenda packet, you'll see the minutes from the first meeting of the Policy Review Committee. If there's any questions or comments, entertain those. Otherwise, they're provided for you and should be on the website relatively soon.
Very good. Other committee meetings. I'm passing out from Siouxland District Health. There was a packet that I was given and I can't find, but I'm going to put in your tills.
Behind you.
Yes, this is the Siouxland Health Improvement Plan and Needs Assessment that you can read at your leisure. They did an extensive study on the needs within our community and ways that they are going to essentially address some of those needs. They also talked about communicable diseases that are going around, including Shigella and the new Zika virus. And that is in warm weather, which is not here. And so people who are going on their honeymoons and going to places and then coming back, they're learning about the virus as they go along. So look for informational updates. And they're erring on the side of caution as they learn about it. They're also going through their clinic remodel, and that's going out. They are giving a drop-dead date of July 1st to have that completed. And so that contract will come before the board, and then we discuss the budget. And I tried to give as much information from Dennis and Joshua and myself as far as questions on the budget side. Did we set a maximum that they could spend when we did the reduction? And the answer was no. We did not set the maximum amount of money they could spend. We only set the tax allocation that the board was ultimately going to give. And so that was, we had a discussion on that. Judy Turner was elected chair, nominated George Boykin for vice chair, and then Jim O'Kane and Rod Earlywine were reappointed. So that's kind of Siouxland District Health. Any other committee meetings? Citizen concerns? Board concerns? Sheriff's concerns? Take a motion to adjourn.
Just say we're adjourned.
We're adjourned.